We're back with Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
All right, hey, welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio on KKOL Business Radio, AM 1300. Just a reminder, we're here every single Monday at 3 o'clock.
Yes, we are.
3 to 4.
3 to 4.
And
we love that time of day.
We love it, man. I prepare for it. I look forward to it. And I have to get up really early on Mondays and work out, though. That's the only bad thing. As if I don't already get up early
exactly.
enough. But no, we're here every Monday from 3 to 4, and we're just talking about things. I was just actually talking to our guest, Tony, about our vision and how we built this out. You know, your home purchase is the hub, and there's so many spokes attached to this wheel.
Yep.
And another great guest today, which is going to be one of those valuable spokes that you'll want to lean on at least, I guarantee it, at some point in time in home ownership.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I've personally, I don't know if you know this or not, Tony, but I've personally referred numerous clients to you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. I like seeing
Well,
that
thank
surprise face. Good
I'll
job.
pay you later.
Yeah. And one of the inspectors actually that we've had on the show, Jeff Keller with Alki Inspections, he recommends you guys all the time.
Wow.
So
I'll pay him later too.
Yeah, exactly. You're just gonna hand out. You're gonna be poor after today.
Forgot my
basically.
checkbook.
Darn. So, for anyone that's actually listening to us right now, this is Tony Tony Wurst, president of Dominion Pest Control. He was born and raised in Amarillo, Texas, which brings up the song Amarillo by Morning, which I'm sure you never heard either.
Really? There's a song?
Yeah, exactly. He moved to Washington when he was the ripe old age of 12 in 1988. So after completing his bachelor's degree, he got into the pest management industry and has been doing it for 14 years. He is the vice president-elect for the Washington State Pest Management Association and obviously the president of Dominion Pest Control here in Seattle. So I like seeing and I like having guests that are experts. And I mean,
Should I go?
Yeah,
now?
sorry. You're on the studio next door.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Not this one. No, but being the president-elect for Washington State Pest Management Association,
pretty big.
it's kind of showing that, you know a little bit about what you're doing. And all the reviews you have online, they're pretty much glowing. Yeah, and then the fact that I'm hearing your name from numerous different people, and so I start referring people to you, and my clients are saying, hey, yeah, they were awesome.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
So enough of stroking you right there, but hopefully
Oh,
you
keep
feel a
on
little
going.
better.
Do you have a little more?
Yeah, you want some more? All right. So, what's in Seattle? I kind of know this answer because I've seen it numerous times. What's kind of the most common type of pest that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis?
Day-to-day rats are definitely the
Yep.
number one.
Yep.
Did I get that one right? Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark that off my list here.
Pass test number one.
Number
Got
one. Done. So rats are always around. Ants are the number two. And so
What kind of ants are they? What are they?
The most common ant we have is called the odorous house ant. It's a little tiny black ant. You wouldn't be able to distinguish it. There's another little tiny black ant called the pavement ant. If you set them next to each other and you don't do pest control, you wouldn't know the difference between them. But they're very different ants. You treat them very different ways. The odorous house ant is a native pest ant. They live in the ground. They love fruit trees especially. There are several areas of the city like Ballard, the Leshai area, the Green Lake area, all have just a lot of those ants. I don't know why they necessarily have, it could be demographical too, that we just get the calls more from those areas of the city. But there are a lot of areas of the city that have that one, and we have a lot of customers on them on service for the odorous house ant.
So what's the bad thing that they do? Are they just annoying, or
They're
do
a
they
nuisance,
actually
yeah.
do something bad?
No, they don't do anything bad. They're just a nuisance. They're difficult to control, and that's the problem. They're not just I'll go grab some ant bait from Home Depot. You may control them that way. That I know people that have been successful with that, but that's rare.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about rats? What do you usually have to do for them? I mean, I kind of know from.
I've got a cat.
I hear that one often.
So I got a crazy story before you answer this.
Tell me.
We have two cats.
Yeah.
This is probably a month ago. She texts me or calls me frantic. My wife, who's the producer, she calls me frantic. There's a rat. It's sitting right next to the cats. No, it just walked into their food bowl and is sleeping in their food bowl. I'm like, what the hell? And yeah, it's just crazy. This rat just
Really?
yeah.
Was it literally sleeping there?
It was
And
literally
alive?
sleeping alive. The cats had not killed it. It was just there. It then, I realized, probably died just shortly after that
Yeah.
because I found it about a week ago.
Yeah. Where'd you find it?
Underneath underneath an outdoor chair.
Okay.
Kind of huddled up underneath it.
How long was it after the incident with Foodgate?
Probably about a month.
A month.
So you've been hanging out.
Wow.
How big was this so-called rat?
It was
Christian?
The alleged
good-sized
rat.
Six
We
inches?
got photo proof.
You have photo.
Yes.
Ratatouille. Wow.
I like
Yeah.
that movie.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing. I'm a numbers guy, so you guys are talking, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, one of our cats just had to go to the vet, $200 for a checkup and some tests and this and that, and pet food or cat food every single week. Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm just gonna hire this guy. You can't be more than probably what, $500, $400, $500 a year. Cat food's expensive.
Was that $200 a week? I'll take the $200 a week.
exactly.
I will give you a deal. How about $180 a week?
Yeah. Seriously, I'm sitting here. Well, the cheap way, let's just get a cat.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe that's not the cheap way.
suckers are expensive.
Yeah.
Especially if they're my cats, because they're just going to let it sleep in their food
Yeah.
bowl.
Well, I would have suspected that it was sick, sleeping in the food. But if it was still alive a month later, that's very unlikely.
It was dead a month later.
Well,
I found it.
you found it a month later.
yeah.
Should we get really gory? And I could find out about. We could do like forensics
Forensics.
of how old this dead body was.
I don't think the listeners want to hear
Okay.
that.
All right.
But totally what you would expect out of a pest guy.
Exactly.
sorry.
He wants to go
Right.
into the
I
gory
love it.
details.
I was just about to get my gloves out here.
Love it.
So, I asked you a question before I went off on my
Oh, what
tangent,
was
which
it?
I'm really good at doing.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. We're both really good at doing that. So the question was, what do you usually do for rats?
Oh,
I mean,
for
what's
rats.
kind of the way
Okay.
to get rid of
Yeah.
them?
So very first thing you have to do on any pest problem, inspection. So we have to find out what's attracting them to the home, how they're getting in to the home or business structure, we like to call it. So what's attracting them, how are they getting in, and then make a plan for removal. And the removal will generally include some entry point repairs. It'll include trapping for removal. And then you've got to go to prevention. So once you get them out of the house, then you've got to prevent them from coming back. And as we said, rats being the number one problem in our area, there is a large population of them outside. So you don't even necessarily have to do anything sort of like, quote, wrong at your home to get them.
Exactly.
So they're always out there.
Always out there.
Yeah, so
Well,
prevention is a
so
big
in
deal.
Seattle, what's the big thing, Tony, that attracts them to a residence?
Yeah. Well, let me just give you an example. Yesterday, I was training a new guy, and was it yesterday, day before? We were out in deep Redmond. I mean, like in the woods. Beautiful home, just beautiful. Huge yard, and out in the middle of the woods. With a couple of other really nice homes, and they didn't have any rats, of course. They might see some deer mice or other native pests that are like that, but rats are not native to Seattle. But you'll find them in the city center because they're commensal, so they're going to be around industry. The thinking is that they came here on ships, and that's why you'll see them closer. You'll see them really prevalent around the water areas.
Okay.
And so
Makes sense that they're so popular in Ballard and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
All the ships
absolutely.
are there. And
Yeah. So what attracts them to a house? If you have a lot of clutter, so with living things, you have three main issues: food, water, shelter. If you can control food, water, shelter, then you can really control the pest. Now, if you look at your house, let me just talk about it from a standpoint of rats. Harborage. Let's say you have a wood pile. Well, there's harborage. There's going to be dew outside, or there will be other water sources like your gutters, your downspouts, and then food, insects, and there's going to be insects around your house. So there may not be anything you can do, but what you can do is control it. So you're looking at trying to reduce clutter around the outside, make it to where it's wide open. They don't like to be out in the open. So those kinds of things. Try to keep your gutters clean so that there's not standing water around. And then if you can reduce the number of insects around, that'll also reduce the amount of food. But if you live near like a green belt or a briar patch, that's just part of it.
You can do.
Yeah. So prevention is the way to go, and the way we do that is with exterior bait stations and inspection. We come around once a quarter, once a month, every other month, whatever the recommendation is for a particular case. And we're going to be looking around the house, looking for possible entry points. We're going to be looking for the activity in the bait stations or on traps and adjusting for that.
Got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get them? How do you catch them? How do you? I don't want to say kill, terminate them.
Yeah, stop them from
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Well,
That's a great way to put it.
when they're inside the structure, we don't like to use poison. Material. We call that's the the buzzword is material instead of poison. We like to use traps, snap traps inside there, and they're really good. We have a special attractant that we put on the traps themselves, and we'll go back to the forensics a little bit here. One of the things that I teach my guys to do is if you catch a rat, don't just throw it in the trash, but bring it to your truck and lay it on your traps that are on deck. Because those
the scent
attracts them. So that's why we don't really, when somebody calls us and they have what we call a trap shy rat that we've put out traps already and they won't go for it. We don't have problems with those because we already have our traps sort of prepped for that.
He rubs the scent all over him. I get it.
Yeah, I rub them in my armpits a little bit.
Yeah, I could totally understand.
I can totally
that.
smell you from here.
Yeah. So the whole antifreeze, peanut butter, just throw that out the window, kind of.
Antifreeze, tell me this. I've never heard this one. This is awesome. I'm learning
one of
something.
the first businesses that I ever had was a health club, and it was downtown in the city center area, and we had a couple of gnarly. We're talking, they were looking almost like rats, right? These were big suckers. And I had some a member say that, go buy a thing of peanut butter and put a cap of antifreeze in it and stir it up.
Okay.
Lo and behold, 2 nights later, we had 2 dead rats. We got them.
That'll work.
Wow. So it's poison, but I mean, you don't want that around a gym or or a house.
You no longer
that's
own
a good
that.
one.
I was just going to get your 2 cents on that concoction.
So I worked for a local company when I first started.
Yeah.
And these in the old days they did mix their own poison.
Yeah.
And so these guys had access to some of the things that you just can't get anymore.
Yeah.
And we had this trap rat. Now it's a short story. Okay. So this lady had these twins. And it's a little bit sad.
I don't know if I want to hear this story.
these twins were on an airplane, and they died.
Oh my gosh!
In a plane crash.
Okay.
She had
Not
gone
because
to
of the
this.
rat traps. Okay, good.
Yeah. So she had gone to the island over which which was under the area where they went down, and collected a plant from that island and brought it to her home and put it on the mantle. I'll let you guys. Looks like we got to go to a break here. So
We're getting shut down. Our producer's shutting us down for break.
Yep. All right.
That's
so
a
we'll be
cliffhanger.
back. We'll be
That's a
back with
cliffhanger.
Tony to find out what the heck happened to this
tuned.
plant. So stay tuned. Seattle Real Estate Radio.
Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, continues after this.
Hello and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. We are having a fun time today with Tony Wurst of Dominion Pest Control, telling some gruesome rat stories and other things. So if you like that kind of stuff, stay tuned.
No, I mean, let's just, we're all on pins and needles here. He wouldn't even tell us over the break.
No, he wouldn't.
So, okay, fill us back in, backtrack a little. Okay. So if somebody's just coming back.
What was the rest of this story?
Okay, so we have this lady who had these twins that were unfortunately killed in a plane accident, and she had gone to an island where that was near the area where the kids had gone down in this plane and collected a plant that apparently only grows on this island. So she grabs this plant, brings it home, puts it on her mantle, and she's feeding it. Well, a rat had gotten into her house, and the only thing in the entire house that this rat would eat was this plant, and was killing it. It was like it looked like like these colorful cabbages you see, and so she hires us to come out. And at first she didn't want to kill it, because she was just that type that didn't want to kill him. So we tried some things, and finally I said, listen, you know what, we're gonna have to kill it. And she said, okay, let's do it. So this is actually back to your antifreeze story because you're talking about mixing the peanut butter. Yeah. And so we tried everything. I told you about trap shy. This rat was trap shy. You could not put traps out and get it. And some of the things that we'll do to combat against a trap shy rat is you can take the trap, you can unset it or unarm it, but make it look set. So to where you take the springs off of the bar, so to speak, so that it won't swing. But it looks like it's set. So it looks the same. You put some bait on there. You leave it for 7 days. You let them eat off of it. Then you come back. You set it. Move those springs. They wouldn't tell the difference between that. And then you got them.
Got it.
So that's commonly what you'll do. We had done that. and it didn't work.
Wow.
So I
Smart
called my
rat.
boss at that time and said, Sean Bergman of United Pest Solutions, and Sean's a great guy, one of the pillars of pest control, and his dad started their business like 60 years ago or 40 years.
Wow.
They've been around forever. So I say, hey Sean, tell him the story. He says, and he gives me some material that you just can't get anymore. You could get it back then, and they still had some. So we and it's legal material. So we took it and we mixed it with some peanut butter. I had actually first what I had tried was just common rodent bait material in bait stations in the home. I had put peanut butter around it. They would not eat it. They just would not eat it. And so this material that he gave me, I was able to mix with peanut butter and got him that way.
Wow.
So
Peanut butter.
we saved the plant
Yeah.
and made the lady happy.
Good.
I love that.
So, at least somewhat of a
I'm
happy
on to
ending.
something.
Yeah, sorry. I know. I'm like, Well, I guess you always associate death with a pest control guy. So I guess I didn't do myself any disservice
No,
there.
exactly. It's kind of what we expect.
No, but you know what I love, and I'm looking between the lines here, reading between the lines here. You reference your former boss, who's a pillar in the pest control community, industry. This guy now, Tony's successful, but look what he comes from.
Exactly.
And so again, it's just totally going off. We go off on tangents, but
All the time.
it's just a testament of the guests that we're bringing on the show. You inherited a bunch of knowledge and experience from one of the best, and now you're being recognized. You're extremely credible in the marketplace. So, I love it. I love it. So here's the thing. I got to ask you, because Christian, I've heard about this since he moved into this new house, about you guys having these raccoons that like to play with your cats.
Yes.
What do you do with raccoons, man?
They play with
They
your
hang out
cats?
with your cats.
They don't play with
I was
it.
going to say.
Are they,
No.
are they getting in little boxing
They just
matches?
steal the cat food every night.
Them are some
They come
gnarly
in.
cats you got, man.
Yeah, the cat. One time, I was inside right by the sliding glass door where the cat food is, where the rat photo was taken that I just showed you, and
evidence.
I hear this like weird noise, and I look outside, and the cat is literally like swiping at this huge raccoon. It's like a small, not even a small dog. It's like a medium-sized dog.
They're
It's
big.
huge.
Yeah.
And the raccoon's just backing away, and I'm like, wow, one swipe and that cat's gone.
Done, yeah.
Yeah, but it backed away.
Yep.
It ran away, and I was not very happy at the raccoon.
So what do you do with raccoons in Seattle?
Well, they are protected.
Oh, they are?
You have to live trap and euthanize, or in some way, some approved way, make them
Go
die.
away.
Yeah, 22 takes care of it out on Lake Stevens.
There are areas killing it, shooting it is legal, but you just have to do it in certain areas and
Yeah.
that kind
I
of
don't think
thing.
you can get away with that in View Ridge,
No.
Seattle.
No.
Not
Just
so much.
silencer on the gun, maybe.
Exactly.
I've got
I don't think
a,
I would. I don't think I'd want to do that.
Well, I
Yeah.
have a
Dan,
I have
Dan.
a scope on mine.
I don't have a big enough yard. I got a
Man,
huge
we
yard,
are
but
all
it's-
going to get ourselves in trouble. We better move on.
Well, again, tangents.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
anyhow,
so-
I was about to say some things on the radio that should only be said in private rooms.
well,
So what are the most difficult pets to get out of?
Get out of your house.
Yeah, to remove. That's what
The
I
most difficult.
Because I'm stealing your questions, Dan. I'm
Dude,
sorry.
you just swiped one of my
I
questions.
know, but I like that one.
Are
and
you
I
guys in a
wanna know.
box?
No.
Yeah, like my cat did
We-
with the
That'd be
raccoon.
awesome.
Yeah. I'm the cat. No, that's one
So-
of our questions.
Yeah, but the most difficult pest to remove, man, I'm really gonna have to say, it's the odorous house ants
Yeah.
Okay.
because there are just so many of them. I'll give you a tidbit, and probably short on time, tidbit about them. Most ant colonies, social insects, have a queen, a dominant female, which I'm sure the producer will love. The fact that the woman runs the show.
Yes.
And if you remove that queen,
Uh-huh.
the entire nest will fall apart.
Yeah.
And it's because she gives them
The orders.
orders. She tells them what to do. They just need her there.
Dan and I aren't familiar with this
No.
at all.
You remove Jenny from our house, and I can guarantee you it will fall apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone will starve.
I will fall apart.
Clothing
Yes, I
will never
fall
be
apart.
washed.
Yeah.
So you're onto something. I mean, it's speaking the gospel,
Yeah.
man.
So
So how do you find that queen?
right. So with the odorous house ant, if you remove a queen or the queen, another dominant female will go into her place. Or they could, if they feel threatened, take several dominant females and divide the colony and go to different areas of the structure.
Wow.
So that's why you don't want to use poisons or things that are considered repellents with an odorous house ant colony. So you have to be very careful about how you treat, what you use to treat, and then how you go about doing that.
So what the heck do you do?
Well, we have mostly...
We hire you.
Yeah, mostly baits. Mostly baits. You can't buy the baits that we can get. Obviously, with licensing, we have access to things that you can't just buy at Home Depot.
Yep.
So,
well, and you guys know how to set it and
where to put
distribute
it
it properly.
right,
Yeah.
we have ways. The thing I try to get my guys to do is give our customers relief as soon as possible. What we can do is we can inject those baits with special apparatuses that we have up underneath baseboards, basically out of sight areas. And what that's going to do is draw the insects out of sight. And so that really solves the problem from the customer standpoint, is that, while we're in the process of getting rid of them, we've already solved your problem. So you don't have to look at them anymore.
Or your house guests.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, okay, so a lot of our clients...
Excuse me, the answer on the table. Should I give them a portion? Or
They just walked away with my bread. Thanks,
Can I have
dude.
another piece, please?
So a lot of our clients have kids.
Okay.
So tell us a
Who
little...
never drop food on the floor, ever.
Never.
Especially sweet stuff.
Well, both of us have young kids. Yours are younger than, a little bit younger than mine, but...
Half of Bowden's food is literally on the floor every single meal.
And he eats it probably, too.
No.
No?
we don't. Well,
Could you try to get some of that in your mouth, maybe?
yeah, exactly. It's like we're wasting so much food here. buddy.
How about, with that in mind, kid safety, tell us a little about your products and your placement and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I actually, because we had talked a little bit about what the questions were going to be, I called one of my close buddies who's a rep for Bayer, which is one of the most well-known chemical producers, manufacturers of chemicals in our industry anyway. And I asked him, I have a standard answer for this question, which is that all the materials that we use are licensed and tested by the EPA and the WSDA, which EPA is the federal government level and the WSDA is the state government level.
Got it.
The kind of testing that they go through costs billions with a B of dollars. Kinds of things they have to do is they have to hire several in different areas of the country entomologists who can put these things to the test out in the field and in the lab. They test them on different substrates, which are like different kinds of things that they would spray it on if it's a spray material. They test it on. They use usually rodents as a mammal to find out what the lethal concentration will be. Like when is it dangerous? They have to find out all these different things. How can you spray it? So after all that research happens, then they produce what's called the label, which is on the side. You see it at Home Depot. You can go and it shows you instructions for use. Yeah. Well, for us, that's not just suggestions. As a licensed pest control operator in Washington State, if you don't follow those rules, your license is in jeopardy.
Yeah. Wow, that makes sense.
So after they spend all the money to research and find out how they can be used, they produce that label, and that label will tell you where you can use it. Can you use it in a home? Can you not use it in home? Can you use it in a food establishment? Can you not? Can you use it if there are pregnant people or elderly around? How is it? And for the most part, when we spray the outside of your house, and we'll ask you to keep the dog inside until it's dry. And we'll we'll find a shadowy area and say, hey, when it's dry there, you can let the dog out. My trainee the other day, he was like, man, is this stuff going to kill me or something? And so we talked about it, and we got out the MSDS, which is a technical sheet for that material. And we found out that he would have to eat 5 pounds of the technical material to die. Okay, and the technical material is not the concentrate that we carry on the truck, but the concentrate that we carry on the truck is diluted down to 8% of the active ingredient. So we're talking about the active ingredient. You would have to eat 5 pounds of it to die.
Not happening.
Quite a bit.
Okay, so check this out. In 20 seconds or less, this question is for my wife and for every other woman listening. What do you do, and can you do anything for bed bugs? It's a common question right now. It's on all the shows on TV.
Use the dryer.
Okay. Heat them up.
Boom. That was less than 20 seconds. Heat kills bed bugs, eggs, adults, every stage.
Okay.
However, if you have an infestation in your room, you obviously can't throw your mattress in the dryer or your frame in the dryer. So then you have to hire a pro. But
are you that pro?
Oh, absolutely.
You do bed bugs?
Actually, I got to say some info for him so that if anyone's interested in talking to him, we got to get his
So he
contact
does bed
info.
bugs.
So he does bed bugs. He does rats, mice, raccoons, squirrels, all sorts of stuff, and probably a lot of other things.
Bed bugs
too.
are number 3, so it was rats number 1,
Got
ants
it.
number 2, bed bugs
Bed
number
bug
3
number
now.
3.
Yep.
So Dominion Pest Control Services, 1-800-394-BUGS. That's 1-800-394-2847. That's 2847, or the word bugs. They're local, Seattle-based company, been providing excellent service for clients since 2006, and I can guarantee from my client's perspective, they've done a great job.
Yeah.
Their website is dompest.com, dompest.com. So thank you very much, Tony, for coming on. You were awesome.
Great job.
Yeah, so everybody else, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Seattle Real Estate Radio.
You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.